Let's take a minute to talk about culture shock. For some, culture shock might take place within the first couple of hours of moving to a new country. For some, might take a couple of days, couple of weeks, or even a couple of years. But one thing is for sure, when you make the decision to move to a new country, there are going to be things that catch you off guard. I'm going to take a minute to talk about some of the stuff that shocked me after I moved to Canada. And let's start with the most important of all. You guessed it, we're going to start with the climate. Now, we have always heard Canada is a cold country. So how can that be a culture shock? Well, the shock is not the fact that the country is cold. The fact is that in the summer months, the country is so hot. There are days when you don't even remember that you're in Canada just because of how hot it is. It makes the Caribbean looks like a nice, cool destination. The temperatures can get up to 40 degrees Celsius, and I think I've experienced 42 degrees Celsius here in Canada, and those days are excruciating. So the culture shock that takes place is that even though in the winter months the country is a very cold country, but in the summer months it is one of the warmest places some days. Also bearing in mind that it's usually one extreme to another extreme, but in between there are many variables, and because of those variables, the climate, the weather in general is very bipolar. You might leave out your house and it seems like it's gonna be a warm day, you dress for it, and within another couple hours it is something totally different. So the climate is for sure a culture shock for me. The other culture shock that I experienced is the fact that there are 6 different time zones in the same country. How can that be? Coming from Jamaica, where it's just the same time straight across the board, coming to Canada, where depending on the province, it is a totally different time zone. I am in Alberta, which is Mountain Standard Time. If you're in, say, Ontario, you are on Pacific, no, Eastern Standard Time. And if you're in British Columbia, Vancouver, you are on Pacific Standard Time. If you're in Newfoundland, different time zone. If you're in Nova Scotia, different time zone. And it's very hard for an immigrant to understand how can a single country have 6 separate time zones. And that was a culture shock for me, because we're in the same country, but I have friends in different parts of Canada, and then I have to look on what time is it there. It might be 8 o'clock here in Alberta, but it's like 11 o'clock in Nova Scotia, so it's probably too late to contact them at that point in time. So that is something that caught me off guard. Don't let it catches you off guard either. So talking about time zones, the other factor that caught me off guard was daylight saving time. Now, daylight saving time is something that is not a topic in the Caribbean. I used to work in a call center. I couldn't understand it until I moved to Canada. Now, daylight saving time is when the countries that uses daylight saving time put in these measures to try and extend the amount of daylight that you have within a day. Now, in the springtime, the clock spring forwards 1 hour, right? And then in the fall time, in November, the clock fall back by an hour. So we always say spring forward and fall back. So there are times of the year when the clock is moved forward by an hour, and then there are times of the year when the clock moves back an hour. And when it moves forward an hour, let me tell you guys this, it affects your sleep significantly in ways that you have no idea, that just a single hour can have such a profound impact on your overall sleep and just your productivity. It takes some adjusting, believe me. Definitely takes some adjusting. Comment right down below and let me know if daylight saving time caught you off guard as well, as much as it did to me, or if it's just me. Alright guys, let's take a second right now to talk about this tipping culture that exists in Canada. Now, in other countries, Yeah, you tip. You go to a restaurant, you sit, you have a nice meal. It's almost like an expectation that you're gonna tip your waitress or your waiter if you have gotten good service. But here in Canada, tipping culture takes tipping to a whole nother level. I'm talking about you're going to the barber, you're gonna have to tip your barber. I'm talking about you're taking a cab, you're gonna have to tip your cab driver. I'm talking about you're going to a Subway, just ordering something through the drive-thru, and you're getting a machine with tip on it. It's like every service that is provided, the culture is that there's an expectation of tipping. I call it the tipping culture. Now, people are gonna say that no, you don't have to tip, it's a choice. But sometimes you feel a little bit guilty. So you're guilted into tipping. Right? Like, for example, are you gonna get the same level of service if you don't tip? Like, I'm paying for my haircut, I'm paying for the taxi ride, I'm paying for all these services. Why am I expected to tip? I can't understand it. What I mean is one of the things that shocked me when I moved to Canada. Tipping culture. Comment down below and let me know if this happened to you. Okay guys, credit card system is the other thing that shocked me. Now, coming from Jamaica, people had credit card, I had a credit card, but really and truly it wasn't embedded in the culture because there was many people who didn't have a credit card. But in Canada, it's a credit system. Majority of persons live off credit instead of paying for things cash. But in our culture in Jamaica, most things are purchased by cash. Apart from the big purchases like a house and a car, everything else is pretty much cash purchases. But here, it is definitely not the same. Almost everything is on a credit system. And, you know, it is something that definitely caught me off guard. And the access to credit as well was something that I wasn't prepared for. It's pretty easy for a new immigrant to get a credit card, to get credit, and so forth, so on. But that ease in getting those services actually makes it easy for a new immigrant to mess up their credit score and all of these factors as well, because there's not much training that is done. Our teaching on financial literacy is almost like you have to fail to learn as well. So if you're watching this video and you're a new immigrant, don't borrow more than you need. Try to keep the same mindset of paying cash for what you want, and use a credit card only for the sole purpose of building your credit, right? Thank me later. And on that note, guys, I'm gonna end the video right here. My walk is officially ended. I'm going back to my office. It was such a beautiful day today, so I had to go on a walk and just thought that I would have a conversation with you guys. So if you guys are new here, please take a second to hit that subscribe button and let me know what you think about the conversation in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next video.